How's it going, folks? Hope everyone's alright out there. Now, on the lathe today, we have the Scraps Bowl from the Second Life of Woodturning Scraps Challenge. The epoxy finally cured overnight, which is good. And today we're going to try and turn it into a sort of a mini platter. It's not so much of a bowl as a platter. It's about 11.5 inches across and about 2.5 inches deep. So I started off using the bowl gouge, and as soon as I touched the epoxy was way too hard. So we had to go straight for the carbide, and I spent the rest of the time playing with the carbide. So at the minute I'm just turning away the plywood that was the base for the bowl. And the epoxy did quite a good job of getting through all that sawdust, and it set like concrete. It was really tough going. Not too bad when I was working on the outside, but going on the flat face was hard work. So I'm doing one of my floating bowls, which is to say that when you put the bowl on a table, it doesn't. The bit that touches the table you can't actually see, so it appears like it's floating. You see, there was a few voids in the outside, but I filled those with CA glue and sawdust. And I just wanted to try the 40/40 grind on the outside and see what that would do, whether it would give me a better finish. And the answer is no, it didn't. I think because there were so many different directions of grain going on, the chisel was bouncing slightly, and it didn't give me any better finish than using the carbide. Probably a bit worse actually, so I went back over it with the carbide. Just doing a quick sand on the outside. Okay, so we're just isolating the foot of the platter and putting in our mortise, 88mm, or as close to that as I can reasonably get. Now you can see there I'm sanding with oil as I got up through the grits. I sanded the bottom of the bowl with oil up to 1000 grit. And then on went the sanding paste. You can just see that pine cone poking through the bottom. And then we put several coats of shine juice on. And this is the part of the show where we get to showcase some of your fantastic work. And this bowl was sent in by Michael Roche, and it is spalted hackberry. I'm not sure that we have hackberry in England, so if you can tell me what that wood is, that'd be great. But yeah, it's a beautiful piece, and thanks very much for sending it in, Michael. And if you'd like your work to be featured on the show, you can send your images to willmakeseverything@gmail.com. Okay, so it's time to work on the inside. Now this was quite a laborious task, hollowing this out. It was incredibly hard. I think again because of all the different woods, it was difficult to get a consistent cut across the face. I tried just about every tool I had and sharpened my carbide and everything, and it was very difficult going through this. Well, we got there in the end. Like I said, I didn't want to go too deep. I wanted to do more of a platter than a bowl, but I wanted to get down to the very middle of that pine cone, and for that to be my deepest point. There was a really awkward area right in the middle there where I'm trying to work now, and the carbide wouldn't touch it at all. I think that's because it was more wood than epoxy. So for that area I did use my bowl gouge, but as soon as I tried to use my bowl gouge anywhere else, that wouldn't work, and I had to go back to the carbide. So it was just a case of make the middle of the bowl as deep as possible with the carbide, and then pull that curve all the way back to the outside. Just doing layer by layer. Got the camera covered in rubbish there. That's a good shot, isn't it? So I tried doing a few cuts with my 40-40. I even resorted to using the parting tool. And I went back to the carbide, and just there was no way of speeding up the process. So I just had to knuckle down and put the time in with the carbide. Okay, so we've got down to final depth, and I blasted it with the 40 grit pad just to take out the lumps and bumps that the carbide had left, and then I wet sanded all the way up to 1000 grit again. Then a liberal coating on slow speed with the sanding paste. Speeded it back up to 1400 here. And then on goes the shine juice. And there we go. All finished up. Looks quite nice. I have to say, Rav, this was a challenge. Definitely a challenge. Sanding through and cutting through that many different woods really posed some issues, but we got there in the end. And here's some glamour shots outside. It was such a nice day. I thought I'd take some outdoor shots. So I'll leave you as ever with the glamour shots, and I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. If you have, if you might consider subscribing, that'd be fantastic, and hit the like button and all that good stuff. And I will be back tomorrow with another video, so take it easy folks. Cheers.